Hey folks, today is Friday, June 28th, 2019. As usual, it's me, Jake Baldino. It's Friday, so we're going to talk about the video game news stuff that has been going on this week. Let's just jump straight away into it. How do I usually start these things?
You usually go, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about this week. Starting with...
Thanks, Tom. Fan of the show?
Yeah.
Let's just hop right in and talk about some Cyberpunk 2077 updates. I know you guys are always itching for any little bit of news we can get. The newest thing is the install size, at least what it seems to be on PS4. So what might be a placeholder on the PlayStation Store for Cyberpunk 2077 lists 80 gigabytes of storage space this sucker will take up. That's pretty damn big. Games Radar, shout out to them, admirably pointed out that this is bigger than The Witcher 3 and all of its DLCs combined, which is massive. This isn't up to the 100 gigabyte stratosphere that stuff like Red Dead Redemption 2 and the Black Ops games have reached, but still, that's pretty damn big, and considering that they're still working on the game, it could be bigger, so we don't really know, but that is massive. At the very least, base level on PS4, 80 gigs, expected to be more elsewhere maybe, who knows, but call me old-fashioned, when I hear stuff like that, I just get excited, because like, to me, I just like, ooh, that's a lot of video game in there. It's like Christmas, you know? I don't know. It's really stupid, but that's why we talk about these little things, right? The other bit of news here is we do have CD Projekt Red going on record a little bit more about the romance options and the side questing stuff and character relationships, which, as a Mass Effect fan, as a fan of a lot of RPGs, I love messing around with this type of stuff, and it seems like Cyberpunk 2077 is going to have a lot of it. So, according to them, it will be pretty much freeform. You're going to be able to develop long-lasting relationships with people that have arcs, or you could just go for one-night stands. And they said since you do create your own character, it's not like in The Witcher where you're Geralt and there are rules to his character. Here you can do whatever you want and do whoever you want. I think that's pretty cool. What I think is the biggest challenge with games like this, and I'm curious to see since they are talking this up, is how they can write those relationships and make them feel kind of adjacent to the main narrative and the main arcs in the game, because that's tricky when there's so many characters you can develop a relationship with. That stuff can get pretty vast. I feel like that's like some Obsidian level writing stuff, so can't wait to see how that goes. Now, next up in other news, we're going to talk about EVE Online. Now, you might be like, EVE Online, why are we talking about that? Sometimes the stuff that comes out of EVE Online, this massively multiplayer game, the stuff is just amazing. So check this out. The best thing about this, thankfully, the story was broken down by Reddit user Hammer388, and he describes a really interesting new phenomenon that happens because things that happen in EVE Online often, like massive large-scale wars between players and surprises like that, have been documented just because they're so unique, and it's like the game is its own civilization. The newest thing, though, is that NPC fleets have shown up and just started decimating players. This is with no build-up, no prior knowledge, no like expansion announcement, nothing. This is just happening. And apparently the NPCs, the AI is behaving unlike players have seen them act before. Like I said, this is pretty unprecedented, and essentially this is going to result in a large-scale, drawn-out PvE war. Players, like on Reddit, have said that this is completely unexpected and unlike anything the game has seen before. We're going to link the story down in the description below if you want to read into it, just because we always think that EVE is so fascinating considering a lot of us don't play it here. We did ask one of our friends that does play EVE, and he said this is totally wild. This reminds me of that time in Elite Dangerous when a new race of aliens just kind of showed up. I think space games have so much potential for being so captivating and having experiences unlike what we get in other games. So shout out to EVE Online, really. But next up, before we move on briefly, this episode is brought to you by nothing actually. Just you guys, really. Thanks for watching this show. Thanks for supporting us. We appreciate you guys. Next story, we could dive a little bit into the PlayStation 5. Some more tech spec, some more technical details have been coming out that I thought you guys might find interesting. We haven't talked about PlayStation in a while. So we've talked about that Wired article. We've referenced it a million times where Sony went on record talking about their tech specs and demonstrating their use of SSD and new technology within SSDs to make game world loading insanely, unprecedentedly fast. And now we have a patent essentially proving that. A patent has been uncovered, filed by Sony for what seems like PlayStation 5 technology regarding loading and how a world will load into a game. And essentially this is a patent for predictive technology that will essentially guesstimate where you're going and load in the world before you get there. There have been similar techniques in the past, but not explicitly like this. Game worlds and sections and stuff have been cordoned off and preloaded early before in games, but the predictive technology behind it seems to be the new thing. The game monitoring where it thinks you're going to go and loading around that in this very specific way, because patents can be minute. Like, you might be hearing like that technology exists, but apparently Sony has figured out a different way to do it. I'm curious to see if this can just like boil over to all games development. But it's interesting because this does serve as possibly a technical explanation for how they have been able to reduce load times so drastically, seeing as how that has been talked up as one of the bigger new next-gen features. I'm into it. I'm curious. If you want to read about it, though, the article explains it way better. Check it out. The other bit of news, though, is an interview with a developer who has claimed that ray tracing will be so commonplace on PlayStation 5 and next-gen consoles that it'll be basically like just reflections and lens flare in previous generations. Developer SomaSim's Matthew Viglione has said, and I quote, "Ray tracing will be the next lens flare. With the new tech, there will be reflections everywhere, and ray tracing will be the lens flare of the next console generation." I want to know what you guys think. Do you think he's talking it up a little too much? Is he overhyping it? I am very much in this case with ray tracing. I have to see it before I believe it, unless they figure out some new clever way to do it. As you know, right now, ray tracing is pretty intense on PCs.
Your mom's pretty intense.
Shut up. I want to know what you guys think, though. Do you think he's talking a big game? Do you think he's talking the truth? Let's talk about that stuff down there. But now let's move on to some stuff we've also linked in the description, just some trailers and stuff to check out. The first thing is the reveal trailer for the One Punch Man game. They're making a One Punch Man game. It is called One Punch Man, A Hero Nobody Knows. It's for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. It's going to have 3v3 battles. And yeah, if you're an anime person, that's something to look forward to. We've also got a new trailer for a new Hitman 2 location. This is a bank in New York. I got really excited that it was a New York setting, but it's mostly indoors. But still, new Hitman content. Big fan of that game. Gonna check it out. Also, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order extended gameplay has been released. Essentially, this is a full, basically uncut version of the demo reveal gameplay thing we got to see at E3. This is the one I got my hands on with the whole thing, so I'm actually really into it. You should check it out and see for yourself. Whole gameplay. I am very much into it. Of course, I'm extremely biased as a Star Wars fan, but hey, we're linking it down there for you. Also, shout out to our friend of the show, Duke of a Nukes. If you want to check him out, he's really good at Overwatch. He's linked down in the description below. But let's move on. Bit of a negative story next, but it's NBA 2K19 and ads. You've probably seen this kind of stirring the pot lately. So NBA 2K19 is honestly probably one of the worst guys in the microtransaction realm. If you have any experience with it, you would know that. But recently, apparently, players have reported a huge uptick in unskippable ads in the game during loading screens. Advertisements for like FX TV shows and stuff you can see for yourself here thanks to this user. This feature is the 2K TV thing, which you can actually turn off. You can disable it in the settings, but apparently according to players it's pretty hidden deep down in there, and a lot of people are speculating that this is just a way to take advantage of more casual players who don't really tweak settings or look that deep into things and just want to play a round of old basketball. I'm curious to see like what they're doing here. Do you think it's because it's 2K19, 2K20 is that what you would call it? Is coming out soon, probably. So they might think at this point, screw it, just put all the ads on it. It's weird. It's weird for a $60 game to have ads like that, like playing before a YouTube video type of ads. It's kind of whack, man. What are you guys doing? It's been making some noise on the internet. I'm curious to see if it blows up even more. I'm curious to see if 2K actually responds, and I'm wondering what they're going to do in the next game. But we'll just have to wait and see. Next, I want to talk about, we talked about this on the Tuesday live show. It's live every 4 p.m. EST. We did talk about this little bit of news, speculation around Breath of the Wild 2 and a co-op mode. Now, multiple people have speculated that because the trailer features both Link and Zelda, interviewers during E3 have asked Aonuma himself about the likelihood of co-op gameplay, and he's played kind of coy. With one interviewer, he said, it's kind of interesting that you would bring that up because Breath of the Wild, you see Zelda and Link together often too, so to go straight into the thought of co-op is very interesting to me. He also played coy with another interviewer when he said that, hey, people would probably want to see this, and he says, I see, but I can't tell you. We've talked about this a lot in depth here, but I'm kind of into that concept because, the way Breath of the Wild is, it's so open and, ripe with possibilities for wacky systems exploration, so why not throw co-op into it at this point? It's already far enough from like the style and blueprints and mechanics of a traditional Zelda game that I'm okay with seeing them go hog wild in a Breath of the Wild 2 or whatever they're going to call it. So let's see what they do. Co-op in a Zelda game. Who would have ever thought? What a time to be alive. Or extremely cynical and skeptical. But let's talk about all this stuff down in the comments. But before we do that, let's first do this console giveaway. I gotta hold my horses. You know how this goes down by now. There's a link in the description below. You click it to sign up. You enter once, then you're entered for good. And then every single week we go in and randomly choose one person to win a free console of their choice. So this week's winner is going to be this person right here. Congratulations. Be sure to keep an eye on your inbox, your spam box, stuff like that, because we're going to be reaching out to you to find out how we can send you your free stuff. But like I said, now let's talk about all the stuff going on this week. First of all, Cyberpunk 2077. You can romance people. That's cool. I can't wait to dump people. That's mean. Also, do you have enough space on your hard drive, be it your PC, your PS4, your Xbox One, whatever you play on? Are you ready to play this sucker? Also, do you play EVE Online? Because if you do, I would love to hear your perspective on some of the wild stuff that has been going down. I thought it was worth bringing up. Not only that, with all the new little details about PS5 and the architecture and the ray tracing and the loading speeds, what do you think? What are you thinking about the next generation of consoles if you're a console person? And also, last but not least, I want to know what you guys are playing this weekend. Let me know. Let me know what you're playing just so we can kind of gauge for future videos. The Sinking City is out. It's weird. We did it before you buy on it. Check that out if you're curious. Whatever game you're playing, let us know down in the comments. If you got anything else for me, of course, hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at Jake Baldino. But like I said earlier in this video, thank you guys for coming around, supporting the show, watching every Friday. It means the freaking world to us. But we're going to go now, so you guys enjoy the weekend. If you enjoyed this video, you can click the like button because that really helps us out. And if you're new, you should consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell because we put out videos every single day. But as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Pizza's on me.